The process of writing music for me is so strange because I never start off writing with a concept or an idea. I kind of just listen to the melody and words just appear. And it's not until I listen to the recording or listen to the voice note like a few days later or a few hours later, I realise exactly what I'm feeling. It's like my songs tell me how I'm feeling. And Sunshine in My Pocket is definitely a song that describes how I was feeling at the time I wrote it.
It's okay to not want to smile, okay to put your worries on and not feel good for hours. That's what makes us human. Just know I'm right by your side to help you put your happiness back on. I always keep a spare if yours is lost somewhere. So if you ever need a little bit of sunshine, take a look at my pocket. I think you'll like what you may find.
So Sunshine in My Pocket was written on the stairs, and I remember I wrote the song on a really, really old guitar that I have, one of my oldest guitars. And when I listen to the voice note now of what it sounded like when I wrote it, it's completely different to what it sounds like now, which is insane.
1, 2. So if you ever need a little bit of sunshine, take a look in my pocket. I think you'll like what you may find. The floating rainbow right there in my wallet, with a goofball smile. Just promise you won't spend it all at once.
But I was inspired to write it after watching PJ Morton's Gumbo Unplugged live video on YouTube. And I remember watching that and after thinking to myself, I really, really, really want to write a song like that. And Sunshine in My Pocket kind of happened. The song was actually written in September lockdown in 2020. I knew after writing it, like, this was a song that felt like me for the first time. So I wanted to record it properly, and I managed to get some funding from Help Musicians UK and Mobo Awards. Then I reached out to one of my mentors who put me in touch with an amazing producer called Andy Jones, who then brought on another amazing producer and instrumentalist, Dave Temple. And I remember I met Andy for the first time, and we kind of spoke about like the project, and there's like a few other things that we're working on, and he just got it straight away. I was like, this is the guy that needs to work on my song. Because I'd written this song and sung it for so long, I did want fresh ears, and I really didn't want to produce it myself because I'd be too precious about it, and we'd be there for years and it probably wouldn't sound like how it sounds now. Even recording the demo, I was like, okay, I'm working with the real musicians now. I was almost like get this imposter syndrome where I get really nervous, and I sent it off, and I remember going into the studio for the first time and hearing what they had done with it, and what they heard on it, and exactly how I heard the song in my head is what I heard in the studio that day. It was crazy.
Chord changes that I put in.
The thing is, right, with that high one, if you listen to her, you're so masked by Sacha.
Yeah.
Thank you, there.
No, it works. It definitely works.
Yeah, the problem was, when you're down there, you're even more masked because she's up there.
Yeah. Got ya.
That's really lovely, that whole beginning. Do you want to go for the start again, or?
Sorry, I've just got to remember. Yeah, let's just go from here.
This song was the first song I ever recorded with my Gret, and I remember being in the studio and really wanting to do it justice, and I got so nervous because I don't know what it is, but when I record with my guitar in the studio, I just forget how to play. Obviously, I'm with Dave and Andy, who are like amazing musicians and producers. I'm like, just play it right, like do it correct. I think what's so amazing to me for this track is it really started with just me and the guitar, and we built on top of that and we added more. There's Wurlitzer in there, there's some amazing drums, and some other extra bits that you can enjoy, and it's really just like a feel good vibe.
That'd be nice.
I remember we added loads of things and we were like, okay, we need a bass, and Andy kept saying, I have someone in mind, I have someone in mind, and he brought in Matt. We played the song and we just said, just vibe on it. Andy was like, I know what you do, I know what you can do, just do it, do your thing, sort of thing. And I remember it just being such a vibe in the studio that day. Like, he was just playing on top, barely any direction, just go with the vibe. And that's like the sentiment for the track, I would say, is it's just so flowy. And Matt came and did his thing and he laid down the bass, and I was just, yeah, it was a good day. It was just so much fun. I really learned a lot about me and like what I can do musically, but also from them in terms of like the production and just experimenting. The whole thing was like an experiment, and we tried things, we took things out, we added things, we kept them. It was just like a whole experiment and it worked. Andy and Dave would kind of have a moment where they'd just be discussing a part or they'd be working on something, and I would just sit back like, wow. The hardest thing about recording Sunshine in My Pocket was getting out of those bad habits of performing it live for 2 years. I didn't want the recorded version obviously to sound like a live version, but I'd been singing it live for so long. I got into the studio with so many bad habits, and I remember being in the recording session when we were doing the vocals and Andy had to be like, just strip it back, like try not to do too much with it, you don't have to sing, you know, you don't have to do this riff here, you don't have to add all of this kind of decoration. And it was really hard to kind of break out of that live mindset of the song. It was really hard. Yeah. Just promise you won't spend it. I'll do that again. Promise you won't spend it. Oh no. Promise you won't spend it all at once. There's plenty more where that came from. Oh, ooh. Really, I went to my head voice too soon. Other way around. The vocals. Recording the vocals for me is like a marriage. I'm not married, so I don't know, but this is the best way for me to describe it. When you put the vocals with the track, it has to like blend perfectly, but then also once you record and it's locked in, that's what you're listening to for the rest of your life. And yes, you can re-record things and, you know, but that kind of marriage there for the first time with the vocals and the track is, to me, so binding. And I probably shouldn't put too much pressure on it, but I have to. Trying to figure out how to blend the backing vocals to where they sit nicely with the track, and all the other instruments and sounds, and kind of finding those pockets for them to sit into, but then they also have to really stand above that and complement the vocals as well. It's a lot of pressure, but I can't explain how much fun I have doing backing vocals. Like it's a passion of mine. I just love putting sounds together. It's just getting me excited thinking about it. Is that lame? I recorded the backing vocals in my living room. So I sat on my living room floor and just kept adding, and I could just hear so many things underneath, and there's so many layers to some parts. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm just gonna add everything, and then when we get into the studio we can take bits out that we don't like. We ended up keeping like everything basically. I think one of my favourite bits for Sunshine in My Pocket is dun dun dun, if you ever need a little, like those stabs, because I heard that, and that's how I performed it. When I performed it for the first time, that's how I performed it, and I never told them that wasn't in the demo. And when I went into the studio for the first time and they showed me what they worked on, they'd put those stabs in. I was thinking, how did you do that? How did you know? It's crazy.
Think you have, because you're supporting the vocal. Just hear it with the vocal, and if it's wrong, we just go back.
Right.
I'm just going to literally drop you for that. Just,
All right.
Yeah. So and then we can go back to the top, and I won't.
For a song to go from me recording it on my stairs as a freestyle, and what it sounded like was nowhere near what it sounds like now, to then be, you know, this song that we kind of made and built, is amazing to me. It's probably one of my favourite things that I've ever recorded, and I love how it makes me feel when I listen to it. Hey guys, it's Sacha T. Sunshine in My Pocket is out everywhere on all digital streaming platforms. So please, go listen to it. Share it with someone that needs a little bit of sunshine. And of course, just listen to it whenever you need a little extra bit of sunshine. Make sure you like this video, subscribe for more Sunshine in My Pocket content and other things coming up really, really soon. Feel free to share it with anyone that needs to hear it. Thank you guys so much, and go listen to Sunshine in My Pocket like now.